The Indianapolis Colts had a really disappointing end of their season as they missed out on the playoffs after losing both of their last 2 games, the last one being the much tougher pill to swallow. But overall, it was a really up and down season. It got off to a rocky 1-4 start, but then they caught fire, winning 8 out of their next 10 games. This is when we really started to see the emergence of Jonathan Taylor in this Colts running game, and their defense proved to be very good as well. But after missing the playoffs, the organization was done after just 1 year with the Carson Wentz experience. And now they're going to be going in their 4th straight year with a brand new starting quarterback since having Andrew Luck. And not being a playoff team, not having a 1st round pick, not being all over the media for being super aggressive, I really don't think the Colts have been talked about that much. Especially how other teams in the AFC West and East were so aggressive this offseason with big splash signings. But taking a step back and looking at who the Colts drafted, who they signed or re-signed, the trades they made, what GM Chris Ballard has done this offseason is nothing short of brilliant. There is no such thing as a perfect player, but what I think the Colts have done is found a way to acquire players that are perfect for them and what they're trying to build on both sides of the ball. And so in today's video, we're going to break down the Colts offseason. We're going to talk about their new franchise quarterback, Matty Ice, look at some other free agent acquisitions they made, see who they drafted, and with every player, we'll talk about what value they're bringing to the team and why I think even though the Colts aren't even projected to make the playoffs in some rankings, why I think they could be one of the scariest teams to play come January football. There's obviously a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. And I feel like I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Matt Ryan first. I think Chris Ballard, Frank Reich, and Jim Irsay are all doing quarterbacks the right way. The Colts have been so fortunate to have Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck back to back, so they know from experience what having a franchise quarterback can do. And if they don't think you're the man, they'll have no problem moving on, regardless of what they traded or how much they're paying you. Carson Wentz's talent was undeniable, but with how good the rest of the team is, it seemed like he made some boneheaded plays that cost them games just as much as he was helping them out to win. And I heard when people say Matt Ryan coming in as a replacement is going to be much safer, I think that's just wrong and frankly just disrespectful, because not only is Matt Ryan safer, he's just flat out better than Carson Wentz. And this might have been the most overlooked quarterback signing of the entire offseason. Matt Ryan has fallen out of the public eye after his MVP season, which led to the Super Bowl loss, but that was 6 years ago in 2016. But in 2018, he had a near identical season that nobody talks about. He put up identical numbers, an insane amount of yards on great efficiency. But with these numbers, not only did he not win his 2nd MVP, but he didn't make an all-pro team and didn't even get selected to the Pro Bowl. And as time went on, the Falcons' offensive line got worse, the defensive worse, they had injury problems, Julio left, Matt Ryan wasn't left with much. And I did a full video covering his film on the 2021 season, so if you want specific examples to show, he has a lot of juice in the tank still. And he'll have arguably the best offensive line and running backs he's ever had. He gets the most out of his receivers and tight ends and can put up insane numbers, and he's going to have more time than ever to throw than he's had in his career. But before we talk about some of the underrated signings they made like Stephon Gilmore, Yannick Ngakoue, Phillip Lindsay, and others, we need to talk about some of the draft picks that they made that is going to directly help out Matt Ryan. Let's start out with Alec Pierce, their 2nd round pick. This pick just made so much sense as we just saw Matt Ryan and Julio Jones put up historic numbers together in Atlanta. Pierce is a 6'3" outside target who runs a 4.33 40 and has a 40.5-inch vertical. And although NFL media people just can't help themselves when they see a wide receiver, they have to immediately compare them to another wide receiver that was around the same height. So I'm sorry, I don't get the Jordy Nelson comparison, who ran a 4.55 and has a 31-inch vertical, but Alec Pierce has a lot of the traits that Matt Ryan loves in a receiver. Pierce can stack the corner so fast and smoothly glide his way up the sideline or on a long post or over routes, but if he doesn't win over the top, he has amazing feel for timing up his jumps with back shoulder fades, has incredible body control to come down with these types of throws consistently, and this throw is a Matt Ryan specialty. But obviously, Pierce isn't quite the 3-level elite route runner that Julio Julio Jones was, but he has a lot of the traits that Matty Ice is going to love, and this is why this pick made so much sense. But not only is he going to be good for Matt Ryan, but their very next pick, tight end Jelani Woods, is just another example of getting the perfect player. The tight end out of Virginia is massive and super athletic, 6'7" with a great 40 time. Sound familiar? How about a Tony Gonzalez that Matt Ryan had so much success with even late in his career? But these guys are not only going to pair well with him, but they are perfect for the offense that the Colts have. Pearson Woods can torch a defense in the play action game, whether it's a deep shot or hitting one of them underneath and letting them run in space. And now they have Colts legend Reggie Wayne coaching the receivers, and everything I've heard so far, he's been absolutely fantastic. So when Jonathan Taylor, Naheem Hines, and now Phillip Lindsay, who's going to look to have a resurgence, can all go off, once the box gets heavy, they'll be able to hit these guys over the top. But what I think that they're getting in Matt Ryan that they didn't have with Jacoby Brissett, Phillip Rivers, and Carson Wentz is that the Colts don't have their run game going. Matt Ryan can throw it 50 times in a game and win. He can be that accurate and that consistent. He's floating around the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, and that says a lot with how much talent we have in the league now. But the last draft pick we need to talk about is how they got massive value and filled a need all in one draft pick, and that's Bernhard Raimann out of Central Michigan. He is a massive human being, and he has all the tools to be a great player, but that's why he fell to the third round, is because right now it's all about his potential with his tools. But most evaluators had him as a first-round talent, and I think Indy just got another absolute steal. With Raimann being able to learn from other amazing linemen on the team and offensive line coach Chris Strausser, I think they could potentially see the Colts getting a top 3, if not the best tackle in the draft with their third round selection. So again, a quiet, but I think an absolutely smashing draft class. But outside of Matt Ryan, what else did they do to get better? Stephon Gilmore is the next guy we need to talk about, because now not only do they have one of the best slot corners in the entire league in Kenny Moore, but now they have someone on the outside that can lock people down as well. The 5-time Pro Bowler, the 2-team first-time All-Pro, and Defensive Player of the Year, Stephon Gilmore still has it. I think his value is so much less than other elite corners in the league, and that's because he's coming off of a couple injuries and he's 32 years of age, but that's why the Colts were able to get him for 2 years, $20 million. But I think he's perfect for what they're looking for in their championship window that they're trying to go for right now. But they were also able to sign Rodney McLeod from the Eagles to help out the secondary to pair with now rookie Nick Cross. They also traded for Yannick Ngakoue. They just got better everywhere across the board. On offense and defense, it was just such a beautiful symphony of chess moves this offseason. They didn't overpay for anyone or do anything that broke the bank. They still have all their core pieces on offense, filling in the holes to complement their system and what they're trying to do. They shore up the offensive line. They got a franchise quarterback and weapons to help him, and they still left themselves with a ton of cap space to make even more moves. And I personally would look for someone like Indianapolis native Terry McLaurin if his contract situation in Washington doesn't get sorted out very soon. And on defense, they still have their staples like Darius Leonard, Bobby Okereke, DeForest Buckner, Kwity Paye is looking to take another step. Kenny Moore, Isaiah Rodgers were solid in the secondary, and they obviously added all the players we talked about earlier. But this is what football is all about. The Rams won the Super Bowl, the Bengals lost the Super Bowl. Both of these teams have gotten better this offseason, so if you're stagnant, you're losing. And you have a lot of work to do if you're a team that missed the playoffs. You're playing massive catch-up at this point. Well, I think what the Colts have done is put themselves in a position this year to be in that tier of team and take that next step where they can go out and beat any team in the NFL. They're not going to be favorites in the AFC, although I definitely think they should be in their division. But come playoff time, it's really going to come down to a few things. Can you run the ball? Can your defense stand tall in big moments? Can you make the big throws when you need to? And can you not turn the ball over? And now the Colts can answer yes to all of these questions, and this will make them an incredibly tough out no matter who they pull come playoff time. However, a lot of teams can answer yes to this question as well, which is why this is the most loaded the AFC has been in quite some time. So I cannot wait to see how this all plays out. I really think what the Colts and Chris Ballard were able to do this offseason definitely got overshadowed by a lot of the other trades going on all at once. But for already being a good football team, I think they got exponentially better since the last time they snapped a ball. But that's just what I think about the Colts. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure to like this video if you like videos like these. Make sure to comment down below what you think about the Colts and all their moves. And make sure to subscribe if you enjoy daily sports content. Thank you guys so much for checking out the channel. And as always, I will see you all tomorrow. Peace!